Hello folks, it's Sean Mize here, and in today's training I'm going to teach you how to write an email campaign using your story, and really using more than just your story, but the concept of what you want to teach or share over the course of the period of the email campaign. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create the entry campaign for what I'm going to call, for the purpose of this, a fictional campaign. But what I'll probably do is use this in one of my own campaigns. If I'm going to take the time to write it, I might as well, put it to good use and set it up as an automated campaign of some nature, and I won't know that until I write the campaign. So let's go ahead and get started with it. Before we do, we obviously want to define what do we want to get out of doing this, and I think the easiest way to do that is going to be to create a new, there we go. So what I'm going to do is define what we want in our email campaign. And let's see if I can't make this so you'll be able to see it better. Okay. So email campaign. So the first thing we're going to do is define our purpose. And so if, let's say we were marketing to a mature list that is bought from us before, we may say, oh, I'm going to do a 7-day email campaign that's going to kind of teach on a new topic. It's going to educate people on why those individuals should be interested in this new topic. Okay. In this case, we're going to start at the beginning, and we're going to assume that somebody is just getting to know us, and we want to introduce ourselves to them in such a way that they begin to feel a level of respect for us, so that they will choose to, if we're a good fit to work with them, for them to choose to invest with us or do business with us or purchase products, etc., etc. Okay, so what we're going to do is, we said we're going to do this from the story, so what we need to do then is to take a look at the story. So what is our story? And I think what I'll do even is go back. We'd said this is our theme, and I think what we'll do is we'll just use this story that we created a few videos ago. We'll just use this story as our outline and see how this works. We'd use this as our outline for our emails. We'll just start with this one right here. In fact, I think what I'll do is I just copy and paste them all over. Okay. And I'm showing you exactly how I would do this in the real world. Now, the only difference is in the real world, I probably wouldn't use Keynote and copy and paste. I'd probably have old-fashioned paper and pen, and I have it all written out. So that's the only difference here. And the other difference is I probably wouldn't use TextEdit. I think it's easier for the demonstration. I'd probably use Pages. Okay, or if I was on a PC, I'd probably use Word. So what I'm doing, all I'm doing is taking the elements of the story. I taught you how to do this a few videos ago. I'm just taking the elements of the story, and I'm going to use these elements as my guide. Let's just skip that. You know what? Let's not. Let's use this. We can always throw it out later. I want to have kind of a complete picture here. Whoa. So again, we could do this on pencil and paper. In reality, that's probably how I would do this in the real world. You wouldn't be able to see pencil and paper. Oh, it's funny. I didn't realize this story is basically mimicking exactly what I'm doing right here. And I didn't realize it. I did this story some time ago, a few days ago, and I just didn't remember. We worked through a few different stories, and I didn't remember which story was in here. Just picked the one we'd been working on. Okay, let's do maybe one more element. It'd be neat to have all of this in one place anyhow. Oh, something else I'm working on. Okay, so there's our story. There's our story, and I tell you what I'm going to do, folks. I kind of like having this story all in one place. I'm going to save this story. And where do you want to put it? I'm not even sure where that was. Oh, what do we want here? And I'm going to call this, let's say, outline of story. I'm just saving this for my own use. And so now I'm going to save this for what we're doing right now, and might as well save it. And we'll call this email campaign from story. Okay, so let's just review our story of ordinary world. Jimmy has a product he sells. He doesn't have an effective email campaign. Call to adventure. Mentor calls Jimmy to build the campaign. Jimmy hesitates. Tests, allies, enemies. I'm not going to do detail on this. We've already done it in the other videos. Okay, what happens in the end? Jimmy figures it out. He documents what he did. He has a solution, and he chooses to become a mentor himself, teaching other people. That's our story right there. That's a story. Now I'm not gonna model how to put this into a sales letter. I mean, my goodness, I could just copy and paste this section right here, add a little bit to it. This could be the story part of my sales letter. Same thing in my webinar teleseminar. It's already here. Now, what I'm going to do today is I'm going to weave it into an email campaign. So the first thing is, what's my purpose? It's the beginning, so just getting to know us, and we want to sell something. Okay, so now what are we going to sell? Let's say that Jimmy has created a program teaching people how to do what he learned how to do. He has a program teaching people how to write the 9 emails that build trust and lead somebody to purchase from him. Okay, so he's going to sell a training. Okay, 9 email training course. That's what he's selling. Okay, so we're going to do 2 things in these emails. We're going to get him to know us, trust us, and a 9 email training course. Okay, so in our first email, so let's do this. We'll just call it the first email. We're going to say, now I'm going to use, I'm just going to use this, and then you'll use whatever, when we put this into our autoresponder, we use whatever code the autoresponder uses for somebody's name. Okay. And this is going to be the first email after the first download. So normally there's a download email. If you gave them something free, there's a download email. We want to take this, and this is going to be the first content email that they get from us. Okay. So you could say, dear first name. Okay. Hi. I noticed you have, and I'm doing these completely on the fly. What this first one is going to do is just introduce me to them. Okay, so I noticed you have downloaded my intro MP3, and I hope it was helpful to you. Perhaps you are wondering if, say, perhaps if it was, my guess is that okay, something strange going on here, is that you are trying to figure out how to write your own email campaign. Okay, now we're going to get into the story. I understand how you feel. I was in your shoes a few years ago. Here's what happened. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to tell our story. Same exact story we have right here. Okay, I had created a pretty cool training product to sell, but found that no one was buying. What was wrong? The product, the training was good, sales letter was good, but no sales. Now here's the mentor. Then I met a guy who told me point blank, you'll never sell this if you can't build a relationship with email. Okay, this is the refusal. I fought him tooth and nail and continued to lose sales. Finally, I reconsidered and decided to learn to write emails. Okay, now remember, tests and challenges, test allies and enemies. So what are we going to do? We're going to test allies and enemies. It wasn't easy to learn new communication styles, how to write so that people. Now this would probably be, if I was writing, this would probably, if I wasn't doing this right here, kind of like a lion at the zoo, or you're watching me, I'd probably be a little bit deeper. I'd go in a little bit more detail as I'm writing this email, but I don't know that it's necessary. Okay, I think this will be a good email. How to write so that people connected with me and trusted me enough to invest. I bought training programs, spent over $3,000 and hours and hours figuring it out, writing some emails that flopped, writing a few okay ones, and finally figured out what really made people click and buy. So, to make a long story short, I know what to do now, and my goal over the next few emails is to show you how. So, if you want to learn how to write emails that connect, an eye on your inbox the next few days. To your success. It's Jimmy, remember? Okay, that's email 1. Okay, this is our story. Our email's out in our story. Okay, so what are we going to do in the second email? Okay, let's use our story to help us decide. We look at our story. Look at our story. What are the types of things that are in our story that we can talk about? How about actually communicating? Let's jump here to actually communicating with prospects. Okay, so this email will be called, and this will be the subject line, how to actually communicate with prospects. Okay, so dear name, okay, in the next few paragraphs, I'm going to share with you how to actually communicate with prospects. Okay, now, what do I mean by actually communicating? I mean really connecting, not just sending some email and asking you, your prospect, to buy. They're not ready. They need to feel a connection with you first. How do you do it? For example, choose a topic you can teach on and teach. Relate it to them. Do that in a sec. See where we're going with this? All I'm doing is writing an email about one of the points in my story. That's it. Okay, so relate it to them. Just like I'm doing. Use language they use. Keep it simple. Make it valuable. And most of all, no selling till they're ready. How does this you can do it. Try it. Write a simple email teaching someone something you know how to do well, then put it in your autoresponder. That's it. Done. Now you have it. Okay. And this is from Jimmy again. Okay. So the third email. Okay, now remember that our goal in the long run is to sell this product, Jimmy's product, his 9 email training course. So P.S. only if you're ready. If you think you want more training on this, deep details, check this out. Link to, okay, that's it. So now what are we going to do for our third email? Let's do the same thing. Let's pick another problem. Let's look at complacency and distraction. Let's use that as our third email. So our subject line will be how to overcome complacency and distraction. So now I'm doing this on the fly, folks. I purposely did this on the fly so that you could see me doing it in live. This is not pre-scripted. So you say, well, how do you think of that? Well, how to works every time. How to overcome whatever the problem was. So if it's a problem in our story, it's how to overcome. If it's not a problem, so if it's something positive, like 7 triggers to yes, then you would say how to implement instead of how to overcome. You don't have to use the word overcome or implement. Use a word that works for you, but look at a positive word for a how to positive. Look for an opposite of, an overcoming negative word like overcome for dealing with something negative. How to overcome complacency in your emails. So, dear name. Now I'm going to start with a question here. Do you ever feel like your readers are just complacent and distracted when reading your emails? If so, I'll give you some tips here. First of all, think about what you like to read. Interesting, informative, educational, right? So, what should you write? Just copy and paste that to make it easy. Think about your own email reading. What do you respond to? Why? To your inbox and take a look at some specific emails. Why or why not do you like them? Now back to this one. What's different? How can you do this in your own campaign? Hope this helps. Jimmy. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this PS again, right? It's my 3rd email. Now we'll do the 4th email. See how we're doing this, folks? It's not rocket science. And what we could do, notice how when I got done with this, I realized it turned into an exercise. Why don't I just rename this exercise? Okay, so that's the topic of my email. Okay, so now we do the 4th email. What's the 4th email going to be about? How about looking at some of the things in the refusal to call? People are trying to do it their own way. So our topic could be, are you trying to do email your own way, but it's not working? So let's ask some questions now. There's another strategy. Are people liking your emails? Do they read them, like them, buy from them? If not, why not? Is it because you are writing boring emails? Or is it because you don't know what they want? Or maybe it's because you are guessing at what works. Maybe by reading other people's emails. And I let you in on a secret. I think most people don't know what they are doing when writing emails. This means that most emails you read are right. Sorry. Okay, how about let me know if this email was helpful. Just hit reply and tell me. Okay. Now maybe today we don't put a link to our product. Okay. And we could, but let's say we don't. Because if we put a link, they're going to click the link instead of replying. What we really want them to do is reply so we can maybe have a little conversation with them, right? Okay, so what's our 5th email? Now, if we're doing a 9-email campaign, let's see how many we have left. Okay, so let's make our 9th email a real take action. Okay, let's make our 8th email thinking about taking action. Okay, and then let's look at some other topics that we have to work with. How about recommending a great book? So maybe let's make that the 5th email. Okay, how about conversion rates? Maybe make that the 6th email. And so we need one more, right? How about this? Communication. Okay, so this will be our outline for the rest of the emails. Okay. Let's just make the subject line a book recommendation for you. Okay, do we want to put this link in? Okay, now remember, I've really just been focusing on one product here. If we had a full campaign, we may have a coaching program or something. We'd have different links in our PS or in our signature area. And we could vary this one if we wanted to. I kind of like it, so I'm leaving it there. But I'm just showing you that you'll use this PS area. Okay, now another way that you could do it, and I'll do this in the next email that we do. I don't want to do it because I'm just recommending the book, but the next one I'm going to be a little bit, we're going to start getting more aggressive. Well, maybe not in conversion rates. Let's get to it. So how to increase conversion rates in your email campaign. So we're going to talk about the problem, okay? And let's just call it what it is, problem. Not enough people are buying from you. Why not? You know what? I don't like this, but we want to tell them how to increase the conversion rate. Well, really, writing this campaign is what it's all about. We've already been teaching them that. Okay. We'll just do it. One reason it could be that people aren't connecting in your emails. Notice we're hammering home these same truths over and over again. And by the way, when you write your sales letter, you're going to hammer away all these same truths. I mean, think about it. You could almost use this email campaign as a guide for writing your sales letter. Okay, this could be a paragraph in your sales letter. And your bullet points to about what they're going to buy is going to be, you're going to learn how to have interesting, informative, educational emails. You're going to learn how to have emails that work, okay? You're going to learn how to write, you're going to get a list of some of the books that are really powerful. You're going to get my training on how to increase conversion rates. I mean, literally, this email campaign could be the outline for your sales letter. Okay. So now notice each email has a little bit different flavor to it. Okay, like this was a book recommendation. This is some questions. This one is starts out with a question but tells them what to do. This one tells them how to communicate. This one tells them the big story. So now this one's problem, solution. Solution. Connect your product to your prospect's problem. Don't just tell them your product is awesome. Tell them how it will change their life or their problem. Tell them how it will relieve the pain. I'll demonstrate. I have a training that teaches you to write a 9-email campaign that connects and builds trust. I have a training that teaches you to write a 9-email campaign that connects and builds trust. It will teach you to connect your product to your prospects' needs, just like I just did. Want to know more? Read about it here. Oh, and if you think it might help, go ahead and get it. It's 100% guaranteed anyway. You have nothing to lose. Cheers. Jimmy. Okay, that's your 6th email. Okay, 7th email, asking questions, finding out what the real needs are. How to ask questions in your emails to find out what the real needs are. Here. Let's just copy and paste this in. Here's how to do it. What are your prospects' top 5 problems? If you don't know, ask. Here's how. Ask the following question in your email campaign or in an email. What are the top 5 things that are holding you back from, this will be success in your niche, for example. Okay, so for example, that would be, what are the top 5 things that are holding you back from writing more effective emails? So that would be the question for this particular niche. Okay. That's it. Just ask. Note, I didn't ask what they want me to sell them. I didn't ask what they want my help with. Instead, I ask what is holding them back. I have found that by asking that, I get more accurate results. Okay, that's all for now. Okay, now let's do a by the way. If you are liking what you have been learning for the last 7 days from me, you will probably really like my email training. Oops, copied that. So where's the thing that has for the links? And let's just use this whole ending. Okay. So thinking about taking action. I'm going to copy and paste this in for both of these. Okay, now I'm going to push a little here on this 8th email. I can always push and then skip a couple of days and then come back and start another 9-day campaign if I want to with people that don't buy. Okay, but for this, I think it's time to start pushing people. I mean, if you've been reading my emails, you either like it or not. You get off, my opinion is if you don't like what I'm teaching, quit reading my emails and get off the campaign, or make a purchase if you want to learn more. Okay, and if you still need more in the future, hey, you'll go into the next campaign. But in the 8th email, we're going to push people a little bit. So let's just call it what it is. Here's a little push for you. You see what I'm doing here, folks? This is fun. So here's a little push for you. Thing is, you've been reading my emails for 8 days now. Are they helpful? Or are they a waste? Call it what it is. If they are a waste, please scroll to the bottom and unsubscribe so I don't waste your time anymore. But if they are not, what are you looking for? You probably want to write more effective emails. More like mine. Okay, that's sarcasm you may or may not want to use. That's a little bold. I'm using it. I might pull it out later. Okay. So why not push things to the next level? Invest a few dollars with me, and I promise to take you to an incredible place. Do it here. Anyway, I'm pushing a little. I didn't push the first 7 emails. If they're not taking action, if I don't get them to take action and take it soon, they're probably going to just read my emails every day for as long as I continue to send them. They're probably not going to buy. If they don't take action sometime within the next 10 days, 20 days, I mean, really, probably half of all your business, the first sale occurs in the first 30 days. If you don't make that sale, the odds are you may never make it. Okay, so here's the 9th email. Take action. Okay, I'm going to do something dangerous here. I'll show you how I'm going to do this here. Okay, so dear name, maybe this is your last email. You see, I run in 9 email sequences, just like I teach. And at the end of each 9 email sequence, I have a toggle point. People either move on to the next level or they don't. And if they don't, I eventually stop failing them. So where are you? Do you want more? Or do you want to stop? If you want to stop, please just unsubscribe. You know what? We already did this once in another email. I don't want to do this. And again, this is a live campaign, so let's just stay with the positive. Do you want more? If so, click the following link to get more. Okay, now this is going to be a special link I'm going to set up. Link to opt in to the next 9-day sequence. And so it's going to look like a squeeze page with another gift offer. The nice thing about this is just for your notes, this that I'm writing right. I'm just going to tell you. So this will be a link to a squeeze page with another offer, a free gift. What's going to allow you to do is get them to another one-time offer page. Okay, so maybe you can give them a portion of your 9-day training for a discounted price to try it out. So it's going to give you an opportunity to start them over. If they don't opt into this new 9-day campaign, then what you could do is not send them another email for a whole week. And what will happen is some people will go, wow, he was serious. And then they'll go back and resubscribe. Okay, now the problem there is you're losing. That's something you would do if you had more of a, if you were dealing with your list, they've been on your list for a long time. In this case, somebody beginning, I'd probably just skip 2 days and then I'd enroll them in the new 9-day sequence anyway. Okay, and notice I didn't tell them I'm not going to send them any more, but I do say they have a toggle point. Either they move on or they don't, and it's true. They either move on or they don't move on, and if they unsubscribe, they don't move on. Okay. If they never move on, and I do this in my own campaign, I mean, from time to time, I go in and I take people who are non-responsive. If you never open my emails, sometimes I'm just in a mood, and if you've never bought from me and you've been on my list for 3 years, I just take you off my list. And I don't think I lose anything from that because it's really funny. But about 3 months later, those same people start crawling back onto my list from somewhere. I didn't lose anything. They probably weren't going to buy in the 3 months anyway. And what's beautiful is when they come crawling back to the list 3 months later, what do they do the first week sometimes? They buy. Okay, so I'm not afraid to take people off the list. Okay, so this is the link to opt into the next 9-day sequence. Okay, and here's the tip of the day. To make your own 9-day email sequence more powerful, I recommend using a storyboard like a movie maker would use. That way, you outline in advance the exact emails someone will get for the first 9 days on your campaign. This way you can optimize them for sales like I have. Remember, your key is 9-day campaigns. What am I doing? I'm constantly pushing this 9-day campaign. And by the way, it's not because I believe a 9-day campaign is the ideal campaign. It's because, remember, we're writing a story about Jimmy. That's Jimmy's whole thesis. His whole thesis is buy my 9-day email training. everything has to be coherent, right? Okay? So, how about, by the way, do you want to learn how I storyboard? If so, learn here. There you go. Cheers, Jimmy. Folks, that's the campaign right there. That's the campaign. That's our 9 emails. So, let's come back to here. These were my notes for this training. Take a story and write an email for the major points. I did it. Your homework, write your own email campaign. And I'm not going to give you all the steps to do it. I'll give you a couple because I've already done it. In all these videos, I've already done it. Write your story. Write a 9-day email sequence based on your story. I just modeled it, so I'm not gonna reteach it. I just modeled it. Do it. That's your homework. Write a 9-day email sequence based on your story. All right, folks, that's it. We'll see you next time.